Good morning, everybody. Chris Munson here. Now, today's topic, I wanted to make it a little quick because usually I make night videos now. My wife works the night shift, so that's generally the only time I get free time because the kids are awake during the day. Only one of us in order to watch the kids. Thankfully, she's home today. She's going to watch the kids for a little bit, hence the short video. And then I'm going to go rub her feet so she can go to sleep. Anyhow. Topic of discussion today happens to be a little bit on yesterday's video that I made. I talked about how the Roswell incident was, in a way, faked. It had realism to it, but for the most part, lies have been spreading ever since. And I talked a little bit about the ancients and the ancient technology. There are reasons for why archaeology is very important for the secret societies, so they can gather things. They can gather history that they may not have known themselves, confirm things that they've been having suspicions of, or for the most part, gathering old knowledge, old technology that they wish to preserve. That is their way of doing things. So, why do we have stories of beings that can fly, flying chariots? Well, just like we have movies now that show aliens flying around in their spacecraft, because it's a form of detachment from the fallen. In ancient days, the detachment was they were gods. Today's society, they're aliens. It's the concept to which humans, much like when it comes to someone who's gone through trauma as a child, you turn them into an illusion. Just like when it comes to trauma-based mind control, you create separate personality, not just for yourself, but for that other entity. So it just becomes a nightmare in your mind, when in all actuality it was from all that pain that you suffered. Pain is also genetically memorized, if you will. And that's the reason why many different societies that were just born and raised and died and carried on repeatedly in generation as slaves act the way they do. Because once you give them freedom and then you dump a whole bunch of drugs in their communities, it doesn't really have the best effect on them. And of course, they end up being the best ones to be controlled by false narratives and government, etc. Especially when you provide them many excuses and reasons to trust you by using the left-right paradigm. So, with all that being said, the main reason why I decided I wanted to make this video is to explain to people why there is a reason for the detachment. Satan wants to be ruler of Earth, correct? Satan wants to be worshipped. Does anyone willingly worship with all their heart an entity they hate, something they fear? To a degree, they might do it for someone they fear, but they don't do it with all their heart. No. That only works if they come out the hero. That is the reason why that old pagan gods, like the Norse, like the Greek gods, like the Egyptians, they come from other entities that were large in nature. Giants. Greeks had their titans. The Norse were straight to the point with their giants. And of course the Egyptians had to explain it with those who came from on high. Which, for the most part, that makes more sense, to be honest, that they were more direct and to the point. So, with that being said, Purple made a comment, something that I myself didn't really hear before, but it kind of makes sense. What was it? Soul scraping? Soul scalping? Anyways, trying to devour the soul from the corpse. I don't know, to be completely honest, I've never heard of that. I have heard that they do consume flesh. They do consume human flesh, to be specific. I do know that the third eye, there's an actual, if you take a human brain, so if you can imagine this little air bubble is just a brain, turn to the side, chop that in half, now you're looking at the center. In here there's like a little almond thing that's connected to a cord that kind of comes down, and there you go. It's the very center of the brain. That's the third eye that people keep talking about. My grandfather explained to me that that is how the mind produces what it needs. That is how the mind, for those who are able to be quote-unquote psychics or see things without using their eyes, they use their mind's eye. They're able to use this. It's this crystalline feature on the outer part of this, I guess you could say this almost like an acorn, is what produces chemicals that allows the mind to expand itself. See, consciousness is more ethereal in nature. That is also why, in my opinion, at the very least, the soul is within this. Or, in a way, it's our connection to it. Because the soul itself is ethereal. Your flesh is merely a vessel for you to traverse this reality. That is why you shouldn't be having sex outside of marriage. You're more likely to make empty vessels that way. At least, again, opinions. Those that are meant to be will be. Those who are not, well, you're just leaving something for demons to possess. Alternate dimensions with the veil. Okay, so the veil, to which I wanted to bring up, but I kept forgetting what it was. The veil is that thin reality that, much like the wind around you, you can almost feel it. You can't see it, you can't really touch it, but it's there. It's getting thinner. And anyone who's got any form of spiritual connection to the other side, and what I mean by that is those who have a powerful sense of not only imagination, but they have some would like to call psychic abilities. They can feel this. That disturbance. That feeling of knowing something is there that you cannot see is getting thinner and thinner. Almost terrible. That is the purpose of CERN. They make their ritual circles underneath the ground, so you got your earth. They have to be able to breathe under there, so you got your air. Electricity, what is that? That is fire. Fire and energy are one and the same, because again, that's what it is on a microscopic scale. So fire is just the simple version. Electricity is really just the, I guess you could say, the condensed version. Then you got water being pumped into these things. All you got left now is the spirit. What spirit are you putting into it? What spirit is possessing the people to which make these circles? Because I'll tell you right now, it sure as hell ain't God. It's not the Lord. No. If you've seen their videos, it's pretty obvious what spirit possesses them to do the things that they do. So, with that being said, why else do we have the world that we have today? There are so many things at play to make it the way it is. It would not be this way if we would just be honest with ourselves, to take out the trash to which clutters this world. But because we lie to ourselves, and we've allowed lie upon lie upon lie to teach multiple generations, now we only live in lies. We're surrounded by liars, and if we don't accept the lie, you're crazy. It's simple. That is how Lucifer reigns. So, long story short, if you decide to detach yourself from the past, you will accept any lie in the present, and therefore your future will suck. Don't be lost to the lie. Think for yourself. Stay out of the left-right paradigm. And no matter what, the Lord is coming. And to be honest, He's coming soon. But it's going to get a whole lot worse before it gets any better. God bless you all. Good luck. Thanks again, Purple.